Hey guys, what's up and welcome to the channel. I'm the Shotgun Shogun and this is an entire week late. That's right. I'm pretty sure that you have already heard every other YouTuber, every other streamer, every other person on Reddit, Facebook, and Discord talk about ML Sigret and how much of a piece of trash that she is and how you should never pull her and how she's absolutely the worst ML 5-star that has ever been put into this game to date. As a matter of fact, she already needs buffs and you would be one of the most stupid people in the entire world if you pulled her. At least that's what I assume. I really haven't seen anything or looked at anything, but we're going to take a look at ML Sigret. We're going to do our damage by the numbers. Already been in the calculator. Thank you very much, Math, the master at the information. So we are going to take a look at this. Like I said, I really haven't
Operator Sigret
checked too much into her, honestly, outside of like looking at her while I was doing RTA. She's got a scythe. That's really all that I care about. Her S3 looks super badass. So Dark Ranger, we haven't gotten one of those in a long time, and by that I mean like since Bryceria. Yeah. She's got triangle eyes, which are not heart eyes, but good enough. Good enough. No, she's got a power scanner, so there's going to be a lot of jokes about people's power levels being over 9,000. So that's definitely a positive. Check that off in my book. I like that the staff scythe thing, staff in the streets, scythe in the sheets, I guess. I don't know. Crow hates her. Yeah. All right, cool. I like the just the plasma scythe thing, but we're gonna look into the stats. You guys have already looked at this. You really don't care. We're here for numbers. That is really what we're here for. Also, yo, those robo hips, dude, those robo hips definitely do not lie whatsoever. So taking a look at her, she is a Dark Libra Ranger, meaning that she is literally a one of a kind when it comes to 5 stars. There are actually no Libra Rangers in the game for 5 stars. You've got Glenn and I forget who the other one was because I just looked it up and there weren't any 5 stars. And then we tried to figure out who she was kind of similar to. So we'll figure something out when it comes to doing math about her build. Regardless, attack imprint, attack self imprint, meant to do damage, right? 1079 attack, 5502 health, 115 speed, not bad speed. Seems to be very typical of like your speedy bruiser rangers to be rocking that like 115-ish speed. Defense is okay at 564. She gets the increased critical hit chance as well as increased critical hit damage, and unfortunately they still have 5% dual attack chance on things. As I just like slap my microphone, that's how angry I am that dual attack is still a thing on units, because dual attacks make me very unhappy. But regardless, let's get into her skills. They're talking, we're gonna go to Operator Sigret. This is her skill 2, Annihilation, and you would expect that this would instantly one-shot anything in the entire game. It's gonna AoE extinct, but no, it disbatters the enemy with a scythe, granting an extra turn when the enemy is defeated. This also penetrates the target's defense by 50% or 100% when the target is granted a barrier. Now, that is pretty ridiculous, especially on a 4-turn cooldown, to have 100% pure damage. And I know somebody out there is going to be like, meh, but the modifiers probably aren't that good. It's defense ignoring damage. How many people in this game have defense ignoring damage? How many of them are really, really cancerous. ML Haste, ML Crow, Blue Crow, Dark Corvus. Oh my goodness, Shogun, but they have to have a barrier on them. How many characters have barriers on them? All of them. Every last character has a barrier on them. All the time. Have you ever played this game? Seriously. Seriously. So with that said, pure damage. That right there, pull, doesn't even matter. Just that's literally all you need to know. All of the people who told you that ML Haste was going to be bad because his modifiers on his S3 were bad. Yeah. All the people who think that ML Crow was bad because his modifiers on his S3 were bad. Yeah. You hate tanky bruisers? Hey, this one is at least isn't a tanky bruiser that's meant to counter tanky bruisers, right? Like ML Crow. This one's a Dark Ranger, so you know what? Hey, whatever. This is even worse than those examples, though, because she can crit. That's right. So this is basically Watcher Shuri, but in a Ranger form. Yeah, this is Watcher Shuri as soon as you get a barrier on them. So, yeah. I could probably just end the video right here. Yes, you should pull for this. And I'm pretty sure, like I said, I haven't read anything that people have been talking about, but if anybody thinks that this skill is bad, because you get an extra turn when you kill people, and unfortunately it doesn't extinct, so they might not be, just because you kill them, they don't die when they're killed, for realsies. But regardless, this is freaking sweet. We're going to be looking at the modifiers here in a minute. So let's go to we'll let it play out. All right. So we push with Oxlots first off, which means that Oxlots is the most powerful thing in the game. Anytime somebody does a review of a unit and they're like, yo, look at me push this character with Oxlots. Come on. Anybody's good with Oxlots, just throwing that out there. But let's see what this damage is. So that just dumpstered that Rowana instantly. Now the FCC has the Arius on because you can see the splash damage. And Rowanas are typically built extra thick. As a matter of fact, I do believe that there was a time when somebody was trying to test an Elfelt against a Rowana and didn't realize that Rowanas are thicker than a milkshake that you need like 3 spoons to eat. So, yeah. Doesn't matter how much defense is on them when they got a shield. Rip. Now, let's talk about that S3, the super awesome looking fancy S3 Obliterate. Calls in drones to attack all enemies with a 75% chance each to decrease buff durations by 1 turn before decreasing combat readiness by 20%. Increases the attack of all allies for 2 turns. This is going to go up to a 100% chance to decrease those buffs, kind of like a Cerise rate. And you are going to be able to increase your combat readiness by 20%. This is also going to do some damage. Easy. So 4 turn cooldown on this. And this one, I think, is where I saw some people going like, wait, is she an opener? Is she like Cerise? Is she supposed to push people back and get rid of their, immunity? What? And honestly, I actually kind of like this. I like variable kits because you know what? It means that you don't know when I draft this. Is this here to one-shot you and then one-shot somebody else? Is this here to, strip and, reduce your immunity and push you back and then go into other things? What is it? I don't know, man. Maybe it's 400 speed and that's what its job is to open and then come back through and bop you right afterwards. But yeah, who knows? I actually kind of like goofy kits like that where you can build them multiple ways. But some people, they really don't like thinking. So Yeah. Maybe it's a Watcher maybe it's a Basar. Thank you, Ganner. Exactly. You don't know. You have no clue. Perhaps it's one of the other. But I do kind of like this, actually. You extend the duration of the buffs. Not only that, but the thing is you can open with it, right? And you get that attack buff. So you can easily go into, you can combo into something else. And yeah, done. Okay, so that is going to be skill number 3. We're going to take a look at that here in a second as well. Even though we already saw it, I really do want to see it yet again. Drone striking, lasers, pew 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 pew. And I mean, that did seem to do a pretty okay-ish amount of damage. Not obviously not you know, S2 into thick oatmeal concrete setting Rowana, but I mean, that still did a fair to moderate amount of damage on that team. So oof, right? And you push your CDOM forward, and then she blows something up. And then she pushes your Sigret forward, and you got all kinds of options here. All kinds of options. All right, number 1, this is going to be Incision. Man, look at these names for these skills are super edgy. Obliterate, Extermination, Incision. Attacks the enemy with a scythe before healing the ally with the lowest health. Amount recovered increases proportional to the caster's attack. Why is she healing? I don't know. Maybe you're building her like a Blaze Dingo now. But hey, you know what? I'll take a little bit of healing, right? We'll also find out how much the healing is going to do for you, because I believe that's in the damage calculator as well. But then it would be called the healing calculator. Regardless, we'll be taking a look at that too. But it's kind of interesting. I mean, I'll take any heals that I can get. I don't think that like that is really like the be all end all. Somebody in comment section chat mentioned maybe with Bloodstone could be pretty crazy, right? Easy. So definitely interesting. Yeah, she seems strong against ML Crow as well, because you can start with the S3 and then bop, just speed tune your aux slots to go right afterwards. You S3, bring her back forward with the aux slots, then you delete somebody with the S2. But definitely interesting having that extra little bit of heal here in between. I like it. I'll take, like I said, I'll take any healing that I can get most of the time. It's kind of like Falconeer Quarry heal, right? It's not, you're not going to, you know, use her as a main healer most of the time. But if you get a fast Falconeer Quarry, you've got this, and you're just, you know, healing here and there, especially off of your attack and stuff like that, you're going to be pretty good. So we're going to run some numbers. Normally I would build out a character that I have in terms of like these stats, right? That way we can look at something, and I'm going to try to build out this haste that I have, because it's the attack's kind of similar. It's not really. You know what? We're not going to do that. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to bring up the damage calculator. We're going to kind of just eyeball it, right? And go off of similar stuff, because it would still be kind of disingenuous if I threw gear into the equipment thing on somebody and been like, oh, well, this is, if her stat line was even close to this is what it would be. But yes, Operator Sigret. Okay, cool. We'll pull her up. Let me grab this screen here. Okay, so we got the screen. Operator Sigret. Let's build her a couple of different ways, right? So we'll go with a theoretical like high damage build. If somebody does say haste, let's just throw some stuff on haste and try to get well, because I don't know, it's tough. They need to start, like, why would they do this to me? This Smilegate, you made this really hard on me. But let's what would you would probably use Portrait, right? If you're gonna get pushed by an aux slot. So we'll use Portrait. I do actually need some numbers though here. So we'll go to haste. I don't have him fully unlocked. You know what? We're gonna just unawaken. We're gonna fully awaken him just so that I can get this out of the way. Here we go. We're fully awakened. Somebody's gonna be like, why don't you have any background sound on? Listening to you just talk is super boring. Okay, so yeah. Let's see. So let's give him a speed. No, let's give him the crazy Oxlots push. Crazy Oxlots push high damage, high attack build, right? So we'll do this. Don't forget to take off his artifact. No, it's a 4-star artifact, so it's probably about the same as is it the same stats as portrait? Because we're gonna do it with portrait. $195. I'll just put portrait on him. There we go. If I can find one. All right. Back. Okay, so we've got our haste on portrait. We got him fully awakened. So we're going to go with the super high. I'm going to just push this with Oxlots for some particular reason build. So we'll do this. Actually, no, crit damage. Do this. We don't really need much in the way of crit chance at the moment, but 18, 13, 24. Okay, so we're going balls to the wall with the crit damage here. And I don't need crit chance. That's crit damage. But this is high attack. Okay, so pretty sure that this is going to kill just about anything that exists. So this is going to be, and let me just grab my piece of paper here. So this is 3806 attack, 346 critical hit damage. Now, again, this is going to be somewhat different because her stats are different. But this is, we can just use these, right? So we'll bring this up. So we got Operator Sigret here. Sigret has 10 more, so she'll be capped on her. So you know what? Hey, we're going to just straight up cap her with this. And actually, I think she has more base attack, or like 10 more base attack than haste as well. We'll see. Regardless, so we've got 3806 attack. That is not 3806. 3806 attack. And then we have 350 critical hit damage. Block, thank you for the sub, the prime sub. Appreciate it. Doesn't she have more crit chance too? No, haste has more crit chance than her, actually. She has 18, haste has like 20 something. Regardless, he's well over cap as well. So with nothing else, her S2, so we'll say she has a barrier. Her S2 with this is going to do 31,000 damage. That's with no attack buff. That's without elemental advantage. That's fourth portrait, and that is just them having a barrier. That's it. That's a dead. That's deado. Hold on. But first, let's say they have an adamant shield. All right, cool. They've got an adamant shield. Actually, we'll say Arius too. They have an Arius and an adamant shield. If you push with Oxlots, you have an attack buff. It's still 31,353 damage. Doesn't matter how much defense they have, because they have a barrier. And defense pen doesn't matter. So they're dead. It doesn't matter who it is. They're dead. They're deado. Except for maybe like a 40k HP Eaton. That's about it. That's about the only thing that's going to live through this. And that was me putting just gear that I didn't even really super optimize. I just sorted by put the highest critical hit damage on here. So yeah. So that's pretty crazy right there. Easy. And she gets a second turn. One shot. Boom. Kills another person. So even at 50%, let's say it doesn't have a barrier, you're coming through hitting somebody else for 11,000. So, I mean, that's going to be, that's going to be a lot of damage. That is a lot of damage right there. Elemental advantage, 12k. If for some reason you have penetration set on them, that's 14k. Defense break, that's 20k on the S2. So that's a lot of damage. Does anyone know if you put a penetration set on someone with 100% defense pen, if you do extra damage? No, I don't think it goes over 100%. It doesn't. Yeah. But so the nice thing here too is when you obliterate somebody, you get another turn. So what you can do actually is you can just straight kill someone with S2, then you bop S3, push everybody forward because, well, you already have attack buff from the Oxlots pushing you forward. So you push everybody forward, you strip the rest of their buffs, and then you let the rest of your team do what the rest of your team is supposed to do. Easy follow-up. I mean, you can just come back through an S1, but I think the play would be to push S2, S3, and then let the rest of your team follow up after you, right? Okay, well, she pushes them back, which essentially is pushing you forward. It's just the other way. It's just the other way, chat. It's pushing you forward by pushing them backwards. Except you can resist the push forward. So, but at the same time, you're still getting the attack buff for the rest of your party. Now, let's see what we could do with building her a little fast and see what we can kind of dig up here in terms of a bit of a faster build, right? So if we try to keep her damage where it's at, I don't know, we want to probably put her at, like, let's say a 240, 250 speed. This is like a top model Luluca level speed. So we're going to go with speed crit, and we are going to speed main stat. We'll do critical hit damage. Now, the thing is she doesn't really scale off of any sort of modifier, right? So you want a good mix of attack and critical hit damage. So that is something that you are going to want to make sure that you are keeping in mind when you do that. So actually we will go with these boots because that's all the attack that we probably need right there. So we're gonna go with speed. We will have 16 speed here. We will take this ring. Critical hit damage. Sub speed, effectiveness, don't really need that. Critical hit chance, attack, health, that's good. This is better. We will critical hit damage. Take that. We'll take this. And we will take this. No, I need more critical hit chance now. All right. Nope, that's not going to do it. What are we at speed? 274. Okay, that's a lot of speed. I don't actually think we need that much speed. But we'll see what we've got here. Where's my super fast high attack one? That's 88. Maybe we will grab some. Game's not centered. Oh, yeah. Hold on. That's because my display's not centered. You're just seeing this stuff anyways, Xnot. All right, so we'll take this. That's 95%. Although haste has more critical hit chance than her, so we need to overcap this, for sure. That's not what I want. So we need to overcap here. This is definitely overcapped. So let's see. No, we'll do this. So 241 speed. That's still pretty quick. Nah, I need speed on this main hand. Okay, so we got a 261 speed right here. Let's see what kind of damage we can do at 261 speed to somebody with a whatchamacallit, shield. And we're gonna add that extra 10 critical hit damage. This should be overcapped, right? So we've got 325 on the attack, and we'll have 282 on the critical hit damage. So we're gonna pull back up our math damage calculator here. So we're gonna do a shit ton of damage, dude. 225. And then we are at 282. We'll take attack buff off. Are we going to do a lot of damage? So, if you have Arius Adamant on the field, at 200 and what were we at? 261 speed, you are hitting something for 14.2 thousand damage. That is, I mean, that's going to drop a squishy character, right? I mean, and you don't necessarily, I mean, like 261, that's pretty fast. If you're trying to take out like, squishy target, RB, whatever, you can always get rid of a little bit of speed there, bring down to like 240 something, to increase your critical hit damage. But this is a lot of defense pen damage. I do kind of like this. I mean, obviously it'd be rough to get an attack buff in there unless you push with like a super good like blue rose or something like that. 21k, 21.5k. If you had a faster blue rose, push forward into somebody with a shield. Now, if you don't have to kill them with a shield, then yeah, it's a little bit less with that Aureus Adamant on the field, right? But depending on what it is that you're going into, not everything is going to have an excessive amount of Aureus Adamants out there, right? I mean, so let's just say they have just Aureus, just the damage share. I mean, that's going to be 9k into that. That's with an attack buff, but this is also again like a 261 speed. I don't know that I like the high speed version. At 261 speed, that's kind of, I mean, 9k is still 9k, right? But I still think that maybe like a little bit slower, like maybe a 240 speed. But I mean, again, if it has a barrier on, it's dead. It's deado. That's for sure. What about a greater attack? How are you giving her greater attack? Yuna. 29,000. 30,000 damage. I mean, if you take off Aureus, you're going to, I'm going to put regular attack buff on. We'll take attack buff off. She's going to go first. So if you're going into a team, no mitigation, let's say this thing has like 1200. It doesn't matter how much defense it has. No mitigation, no damage share, 21,000 damage. That's going to kill pretty much any bruiser on the field that has a shield. So that's going to be pretty good, actually. Wall of Order, you'd want to bring her into barriers anyways. I mean, that's true. But then you don't have Portrait. So if we take off Portrait, give her, I mean, I'd obviously, if you get greater attack, that's going to well make up for Portrait. But that's if it procs. If it doesn't proc, you're doing 17.6. I mean, you're still killing something probably if it's squishy, right? But I mean, if it does proc, dunzo, for sure. But Portrait. Now, I think that you could get away with like a mid-speed build. So if we come back over, let's look for something around the like 240 range. I mean, right now she's super squish, right? So I mean, if you're going to use her like this, you will probably have to run like Guiding Light to keep her alive. So let's kind of slow things down a hair here. We'll give her some, I'll give her some critical hit damage and some health. This, that, we can, and then this is no, that's not as good as I can get. I can actually get probably quite a bit better. We'll keep this here. Let's see. So we can do this one. This is going to give her a nice little chunk of health here. I need some HP though. And her critical hit chance is going to be, again, lower overall. So I do need to get more critical hit chance in here. I mean, this is not going to be a tanky bruiser build, but this is going to be a I go after Blue Rose build, but her attack damage is going to be really low. So we're going to put her back on this. Let's see. Her crit chance is 27, so it is the same as ML Haste. Or not ML Haste, but regular Haste. Does it say? Oh, it is. It is. No, you're right. You're right. You're right. You are correct. So I don't have to worry about it. Okay. That actually makes it way better. So let's say we're enabling her with, hey, what's up, Summer Bro? Like a blue rose cleave, right? That's what we'll kind of go with here. Not a blue rose cleave, but 221. You have some sort of CR pusher. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, though, is she's going to be glass cannon at this. I don't know how I feel about that. Because like she doesn't have a built-in defense mechanism. Like she doesn't have the 50% RB. I mean, you could run her on Guiding Light. I mean, if you wanted to run her like this, running her on Guiding Light might not be bad. Especially since you get the initial first turn stealth. You pop somebody, go back into stealth. It's not haste, though. We're talking about ML Sigret. She can't use Wind Rider. So maybe this build with Guiding Light, so you get the initial haste. Or not initial haste, but the initial stealth. So let's see what these numbers pull. So 3148 with 315 crit damage. So lose a little bit here. We end up with 315. We'll put on Guiding Light. I mean, Guiding Light's going to give us a bit more attack, right? Because it's a 5-star, but mine's not going to be leveled up. So we will get we'll get regular attack, obviously, because we're going to be pushing with like a blue rose or some sort of attack buffer beforehand. We'll assume that we're going into an Arius, because I like to always assume that we're going into an Arius of some sort. And we're going to pop a bruiser with a shield. With a barrier. So, I mean, at this point, I mean, you're doing 23k right here. So I think that, I mean, that's going to pop a lot of tanks. That's going to pop a lot of, like almost every bruiser. Literally any non-bruiser. I mean, that's a dead Ruel right there. Because you don't care about her defense. I mean, that's pretty much a dead anything, except for like the thickest of FCCs. And that's it. What, 221 speed with a Guiding Light? I mean, so unless you have an AoE to pop her out of that, like right out the gate, and if you push her with a blue rose, I mean, she's gonna have, like I said, she's gonna have that attack buff, and even through damage share, like let's say there's no damage share, I mean, even a SSB an SSB passive, you're killing that SSB. It's dead, and a lot of that splash damage is going over to the main person as well. Rip that SSB. I mean, even if you take this off and you put the damage reduction, you know, your 16% damage reduction, they're still dead. They're dead. So yeah, ML Sigret's going to do a lot of damage, and I think that there's going to be a fair amount of builds, but I think she's going to be like Speedy Guiding Light for sure. That's seems to be the play, and you're just gonna drop one thing, S3, push them back, and then enable the rest of your team. Because if you're using her with like blue rose, you're probably pushing the rest of your people up. So use her to take out like whatever target she needs to be, and whatever target she needs to go into, and then the rest of her team follows up. She goes back into stealth potentially from guiding light, and then boom, Genghis Flan. Thank you for the Twitch Prime sub. You will be immortalized in this video. But with that said, I mean, that's the damage by the number. There's going to be a lot of damage. I mean, you're going into elemental advantage. It's going to be even more. I don't know how it would work out with like a super like maybe like a thicker bruiser build. I don't think that's the build for her. I think she's in and just dumpsters things. But we've been talking for about 40 minutes about this. I do think that she's pretty good if you need a high damage single target damage dealer, which seems to be the big thing that's coming, like the meta really. People are shying away from a lot of AoE, right? Because there's too many things that punish you for AoE. But I do think that you know, her bread and butter damage is her S2. So the play really is to just come in, drop something, and then S3. And then go from there. Now, the thing somebody just asked is, could you use her to 2-tap an RB? You probably couldn't, because you can't S2 back to back, right? I didn't miss that in her thing. With her S2, it doesn't reset anything, does it? Penetrates. No, it just gives you an extra turn. So you can't 2-tap unless your S1 just dumps all over an RB that hard. If it did reset, then that would be broken. Then you would just kill and then kill and then kill. But yes, you can push the RB back with the S3. So that is an option as well. So yeah, definitely something that you can do. You can definitely push the RB back and go from there. But that's it for me, YouTube. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what you guys think about this unit. I know I'm like a week late, but I took a little bit of a break. But I mean, I'm definitely going to be pulling for this, as I need some more Ranger Danger in my kit. As always, if you guys are new here, make sure you like, fave, subscribe, hit the bell notification, hit all the bell notifications, because YouTube has not been showing people my videos lately. If you wondered, have I done a video on that? I might have. I probably have, and you just didn't get a chance to see it. So anyways, guys, I will catch you on the next one. Take it easy, homies. Peace.
Cracky.